Okay, so I'm going to show you how I made my embers from the fire particle effect. So we're going to go into files and script bank first. I'm going to look for weather, which will already be here. You have these 3 files. We're going to be editing the blizzard one. So I'm going to open that. And first thing I'm going to do is just scroll down here and change blizzard to a suitable name for your script. So we're changing the init and the main, and then actually save that as that whatever you just changed it to, so it matches. And then any changes we make now are going to be just affecting the new script and not breaking the old one. And right now it's going to be a copy, so if we get a marker down and something that we're going to burn later, so I'll use these palettes, make sure it's green or not static, and then assign the script that we just made to it. So in weather we're going to go with fire, and then if I run this now it's going to look exactly the same as the old one, so we'll have a blizzard that follows the player. I'm just going to change a few things while I'm here to make it a bit more suitable for later. So we're going to change the brightness, surface level down, maybe just change the ambience a bit. So you can see we have a blizzard that sort of comes around with the player, which is not what we want. We want it to be based around the palette itself. So we're going to change that by coming down here to where we're creating the named emitters, and basically you're just going to add comma E to the end of both. And if I run that, you'll see that it's now in a sort of box around the palette, and if I move away it no longer follows me. We can see what we're dealing with now. And this is sort of showing you the shape as well, the cube that we've got to deal with, and we can change that up here with these offsets. And that's basically the area around which the particles can spawn. So from minus 180 to 180 basically means anywhere within that range the particle can be born, and then 80 to 100 is like a 20 gap range for the height, and then you've got the same down here for the mist. So this is the snow and this is the mist, but we also need to change the image itself. So we're going to change from the snow here into a more suitable one for the embers, which for me is just going to be a color change, which technically I could probably do with a shader or some other setting, but I'm going to do it by the image just because. Just because it's easier. And that is in file. You can see here where it is, but we're going to go in here, files, effect bank, particles, in the weather itself, and we're going to open up the snow. I don't really need to change the mist will look fine. To adjust this, obviously can't see anything right now, but if I select a sort of empty area and narrow down my search, you can see there's some little tiny areas being selected, and if I paint over that in a sort of orange, oops, if I invert it and paint over it, we should now see some little tiny orange squares, and obviously we're going to save that as a new file. I'm just going to call it fire, keep the setting, and then we need to rename where the snow image is being loaded with that same file name. So if we load this now, we should just see pretty much the same thing, but it'll be orange instead of white. Okay, so next problem is that they're going down instead of up. So that will be things like the speed here. So I'm going to make some changes. So we want a little bit of variation in the X, or the left and the right. We want to reverse the direction, so we want to go upwards. In the X here for the minimum, I've got -1, which means sort of minus is this way, plus is this way, and then Z is plus and minus for those. So we're going to put from -1 just because we want a low speed in the X and the Z. So from -1 to 1, from -1 to 1, and then in the Y's we're going to go from sort of 0.8, it's just what was already there, so say 5, because we want it to go upwards more than we want it to go left and right. The other thing I'm going to change is the life minimum, so that some of them will fade away much quicker than others, just to give it a bit of extra random. We're going to reduce down the offsets here, just so it spawns a bit more, keep that one, just so it spawns a bit more centered on the actual entity rather than in a big area around it. And then we're going to reduce the scale here just so that they are small and, you know, more centered as well, because we're dealing with not like one single ember here, we're dealing with the actual frame of the image that we were looking at earlier from here. So although it's really hard to see, there are actually multiple embers in each sort of frame. A frame is probably about this sort of size, and there's a whole bunch in there. So if we scale it up, we actually get a whole bunch of them sort of spread over a wider area. And then the alpha is actually how transparent they are, so we're just going to leave that as probably fine. The only thing I'm going to do is change the alpha down here for now, so that the smoke or the mist is darker and then gets lighter over its lifetime. But it won't be quite right. You'll have to tweak those settings yourself. I'm just going to paste in some that I made earlier in a minute. So you can see, like right now, the smoke is just huge, and I can barely see the embers because of that. So I'm just going to load or copy in some values that I was playing with earlier. And you can hopefully see the embers in that. It's quite dark in the map. I might just see if I can make them a bit more visible. I'm not sure if that's helping or not, to be honest. Probably not, but maybe we can just change the scale of them a bit, make them a bit bigger. Where are we? This one. Okay, so the other thing I want to do is just make the scene look a bit more believable, so we're going to actually have a fire in there. And we're just going to scale that. Oh, scaling weirdly, but okay. And a light in there too. I'm going to make it an orangey colour. I'm just going to take that surface down again. Tell you what I will do is give this a little bit more sideways direction. So as I say, I mean, you can tweak this in real time and get whatever suits you, but that looks better. And if you wanted to make the embers start high, just change the offsets, as I said before. So right now they're starting quite low into the fire, or in a quite wide range between the fire and fairly high. Whereas you might want them to start much lower but move much faster upwards, so you can do that and change the speed up, like, I don't know, 5 to 15 or something. And now you should see them shoot up much faster. So you can see that, hopefully you can see they're going up a lot higher than they were before. As I say, that's the basics, and you just got to play around with it and see what happens for your entities.